This is the second video that's going to be explaining some of the work that you've been asked to do. So if you're looking at this second video, then you should have already completed the work on the first video. That was the drum kit part for your In the Mood assignment. So I'm assuming that you're coming back to this. You're now trying to start lesson 2, which says bassline and chords. And here is your page in BandLab, which looks very, very similar to how it looked before. But to get back into your work, you need to click View Assignment here. And then the bit that's less obvious is here. You have to click Open in Mix Editor, and that will take you back to the screen that you had before. Again, we'll hide the assignment brief so we can see a bit more of the page. So it tells you that you'll need to add a track and click Instruments. You don't need to do that because I've already put some tracks in, but you will need to choose. So at the moment, this second instrument here, if I click it on the little icon there, it will tell me that it's set on a bass, which is great, but it's not on the one I've asked for, which is punchy jazz bass. So let's just change that there to punchy jazz bass. Lovely. It says you can either play in the bass line using the keyboard, which is here, or you can write it in on the screen. I'm going to show you both of those methods in this video. Okay, so here is my screen. Okay, just a reminder that if you can't find this instrument, you either click on the little icon here, that's one way of doing it, or you can click on the instrument button down here. There we go. And now you should be able to hear those notes. And they go all the way up. This is getting a bit high for a bass, so I'm going to move it down an octave here so that I've got this at a lower point. Am I? Not so sure. I think I might go back up because that's sounding a little bit low. There we go. Now, you can either look at it on here, but for most of you, you need to be looking for the music, and it says up here that it's on page 6 of the booklet. So if I go and find page 6, here is the bass line. And the bass line we can see goes C, E, G, A, B flat, A, G, E. And that's a little pattern that we're going to see repeated 4 times in this piece. So we're going to just try those 8 notes first. That's C, E, G, A, B flat, A, G, E. Now most of you should know where those are on the keyboard. What's confusing is that the letters here are different to the letters on the music. And the reason for that is because these letters are the keys that you press on the keyboard, on the typing keyboard, to make it play. So if I press the Z, I get this note, which I know because I know where the notes are on the keyboard, is a C. If you're not sure about where the notes are on the keyboard, just search one on the internet and you can get a diagram of a keyboard quite easily. Okay, so I need to play C, and then E, and then G, and then A. I think I might start off just with those 4 notes, just to make sure that I can do this. So if I'm going to play those 4 notes, I could do it with the mouse like this, or I can press the keyboard Z, C, B, N, and those 4 notes will give me that. I'm playing them in crotchets, so there should be 1 note on each beat. The beat should be quite clear because I've got my drum kit part here. So I'm going to press record. It'll give me a 4-beat count in like you're used to. And what you'll immediately notice is it hasn't recorded anything. And the reason for that, and quite a lot of you will find that your computers do this as well, is that during the counting you need to click back onto the keyboard. I did that on purpose just to show that point because it's quite a complicated one. So this time I'm going to press record, I'm going to come down here and press the keyboard, and then I'll be ready to play. If I want to, I can wait another bar and record it here and then move it afterwards. It's completely fine. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to start again recording. So this time, now I can double click it exactly like I would do in GarageBand or Logic, and I get this diagram which looks a little bit like it. And we can see that although I've got those 4 notes and I can check them, there's my C, and there's my E, and my G, and my A. They're not particularly correct, so I'm going to highlight them all. And then, as usual, we're going to quantize. In Logic, that's just a Q, but here we've got the whole word. And because they're crotchets, I'm going to put that in a quarter because crotchets are called quarter notes in America, and press that quantize button. And immediately you can see that that's there. Now I'm finding when I listen to this at the moment that my bass is quite quiet, so I'm going to turn it up there a little bit and turn my drum machine down a little bit. So this first bit now sounds like this. And there it is. Okay. My next four notes are B flat, A, G, E. Okay. So going back to my instrument, not that, this one. Okay, B flat is here, it's J. So exactly like it is on the keyboard, it's slightly up. On the typing keyboard, it's slightly up as well. So I'm going to be starting on J, then coming back down through B, through N, V. That's not true. So B flat, A, G, E is J, N, B, C. Okay, now my cursor's in the right place because I want to start at the beginning of bar 2. Again, I need to press record, click onto my keyboard, and then record those four notes. Here we go. Now this time, you can see that although I only played four notes, it's gone over the end. So I'm going to use this one at the bottom, exactly like I would normally, to cut that down to the right length. I'm going to double click it again. There they are. And I'm going to quantize them again in quarters, like I did before. Now if I listen from the beginning, here we go. I can hear that I've got those four things. Okay, so I've now got that whole section that goes C, E, G, A, B flat, A, G, E. Okay, now if we look at the music, exactly the same thing happens again there. So what I can do is I can copy it, I can make sure my cursor is exactly on bar 3, and I can paste it, and there it is, I've got the same thing twice. Now for this next bit, which is F, A, C, D, we could do it exactly the same way. We could record it, quantize it, and it would be there, but I just want to show you the alternative way of doing this. So we're going to put in the notes F, A, C, D, but we're going to type them in on the screen like some of us do when we're working in Logic. So we right click here, just to look at it, we're next to where I've got to, or if I'm going to all of it like this, I could click at the beginning and that would work just as well. Right click, and I need to click Create Region. Region just means an empty box. There it is, and if I double click it, okay, it's already open, that's why it hasn't done anything, but you can see we're going to start here at bar 5. If we look at the music, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, bar 5, we're in exactly the right place. So the notes we need are F, A, C, D, and looking at it, the F here is on that line, which is just above that E, so it should be lining up quite well. So there is my E I've just done. Now over here, I'm at the moment using the arrow tool, so that when I've got there I've got an arrow. If I want to write in, I need a pencil. There's my pencil. I find the notes that I need, and I put in an F. Now that's not really long enough, so I can make it a bit longer. The next note I need is an A, and then I need a C, and then I need a D. Oh, I've put that one in wrong. If I put it in wrong and I want to move it, I just click on it and drag it to where I actually want it. Now, because I've put these in with the pencil, I don't need to quantize them because they're in the right place already. So now we can hear from the beginning. And that's as far as I've got. Okay, so that's a quick, just a run through of how to do that section. Now that you've been using both the keyboard, remember it's with the instrument box down here, or you've been inputting on the screen, which is called the MIDI editor there. So it's one of these two boxes here. There are two different ways to put that in. You need to make sure that it lines up so that everything's in time. This is very, very similar to the task that you've done in Logic. So once you've got your head around where the controls are, you should be able to move ahead fairly quickly. Good luck. Don't forget at the end of your work, always press the save button. Don't press submit, that will happen right at the end when you've done all the work. But just press the save button. It'll take a while to save and you'll see it working in that top right hand corner. But that means that when you come back to it, the work that you've done will be done. There it goes, solution updated. that means that I have saved my work. Okay.